He vanished between two keycard scans, 11 seconds apart, inside a locked government facility. Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, California, November 1994. The official explanation was filed 3 days later, and it contradicts basic physics. 89 scientists with government clearances have disappeared without explanation since 1980. A declassified NSA memo released in 2019 names a program that was never supposed to exist. These were not missing persons cases. They were something else entirely. Every single one of them was working on the same 3 research categories. By the end of this, you will understand why some discoveries cannot be made public. The pattern begins in 1977 with a physicist named Dr. Gerald Buchanan. Buchanan was leading research into directed energy propagation at Los Alamos. On March 3rd, 1977, he submitted a research summary that his superiors immediately sealed. 4 days later, Buchanan's car was in the lot, but Buchanan was gone. His entire project file, 17 years of research, was removed from the archive. His wife received one phone call that same morning from a number that doesn't exist. She described the caller's voice as flat, like he was reading from a script. Buchanan was never declared dead. He is still officially listed as a missing federal employee. 47 years later, 3 researchers tried to locate his personnel file. 2 of them were audited by the IRS within 90 days. Buchanan was not the first, and he would not be the last. In 1977 and 1985, 11 government-cleared scientists vanished under similar circumstances. 4 were from Sandia National Laboratories in New Mexico. 3 worked under a program officially titled Research Division 7, which has no budget records. Research Division 7 appears in exactly 1 document, and that document is partially destroyed. What survives mentions a phrase, repeated 6 times, non-attributable asset transition. That phrase does not appear in any known federal procurement or personnel manual. A retired DOD analyst contacted journalists in 2003 with documentation. He provided 31 pages of internal correspondence, then stopped communicating entirely. He was found dead 6 weeks later, ruled a heart attack at age 42. His 31 pages were never published, but copies exist. 3 independent investigators have since pieced together what those pages contain. Every scientist who disappeared was not reported missing. They were reported relocated. Relocated by the same office to facilities that have no public address. 3 of the destination addresses in the files correspond to coordinates over open water. One address matches a grid reference in Nevada, 40 miles from any known installation. In 2008, a documentary crew drove to that grid reference. Their footage ends mid-frame, camera still running, no crew visible. The county sheriff's report lists the incident location as restricted zone, federal jurisdiction. The crew reappeared 4 days later with no memory of those 4 days. All 3 crew members' watches showed the same stop time, 11:47 a.m. Everything we just covered, it is the smallest part of this story, because the scientists who disappeared were not working on weapons. They were working on something the government has never officially acknowledged studying. The 3 research categories they shared, propulsion, biological adaptation, and signal origin. Specifically, signals detected at frequencies no human technology produces. The signals were first catalogued in 1974 by NORAD listening stations. NORAD classified the logs immediately, but not before 12 scientists were briefed. Of those 12 scientists, 8 would disappear within the following decade. The remaining 4 refused to speak publicly until 2021. One of them, using only the name Dr. H, agreed to a recorded interview. Dr. Ha described the briefing as the moment she understood her career had a ceiling. She said, and this is a direct quote, "They showed us something that could not be made." A recording, 47 seconds long, captured by 3 separate listening stations simultaneously. The triangulation placed the origin point 200 miles above the Pacific Ocean. The signal contained structured mathematical sequences, not random noise. Dr. Hash said the sequences encoded prime numbers up to the 2049th prime. That specific prime was not calculated by any public institution until 1983, 9 years later. Think about what that means. The 8 scientists who disappeared, 4 of them were the signal analysis team. Their names appear in a 1978 security memo, obtained through a Freedom of Information request in 2017. The FOIA response was 312 pages, 311 of them fully redacted. The one visible page is a memo header, and it references a department called the Office of Unexplained Phenomena. That office does not appear in any congressional budget, any agency directory, or any public record. But it does appear twice in documents released by the Church Committee in 1975. The Church Committee investigated intelligence abuses, but these 2 references were never discussed in open session. Senator Richard Schweiker asked about the office directly. The response was removed from the official record. And now we come to the detail that changes every single thing we have discussed. In 2022, a data archive was anonymously uploaded to 3 separate servers simultaneously. 43 gigabytes, personnel files, technical reports, and audio record. The personnel files for every missing scientist, all 89 of them, were in that archive. The audio recordings are 47 seconds long, the same length as the 1974 signal. Acoustic analysts confirmed the recordings are identical, down to the nanosecond. But the recordings in the 2022 archive were dated 2019, 45 years after the original, which means either someone fabricated perfect duplicates or the signal is still being received. One of the technical reports in the archive contains a name, a facility name, that should not exist. And every missing scientist's file lists that facility as their final known location, beginning in 1977. What you just heard is only half the story. The facility name in that report is Meridian Station. It appears exactly once in any publicly accessible record. Then that record was quietly removed in March 2023. No satellite image has ever shown a structure at those coordinates. But those coordinates appear on 47 missing persons files, 47 scientists, 47 different agencies, 1 location. The Defense Intelligence Agency opened a file on Meridian Station in 1978. That file is listed as active, closed, and then active again in 2019. Someone kept reopening it. In 1979, the NSA formally flagged the original signal transmission for review. Within 6 months, 3 separate agencies had submitted contradictory reports. The CIA said the signal was Soviet in origin. The NSA said the signal had no identifiable origin at all. The DIA said the signal did not exist and never had. 3 agencies, 3 answers, all 3 classified on the same day. Think about what that coordination means. That level of synchronization requires a central authority above all three agencies. Researchers have a name for that kind of structure: a capstone program. Capstone programs have no official acknowledgement and no oversight. They exist in the space between agencies, funded but untraceable. And every missing scientist had clearance levels consistent with capstone access. Not one of them. Not most of them. Every single one. A 1981 Senate subcommittee report mentions a compartmented program with no congressional briefing. The subcommittee members who drafted that paragraph resigned within 3 months. Everything we just covered is actually the part they let us find. The deeper suppression began in 1983, and it was systematic. Between 1983 and 1989, 11 universities lost funding for programs tied to signal research. 14 published papers were formally retracted, with identical language in every retraction notice. Identical, word for word, from 14 different journals, in 7 different countries. Peer review does not work that way. Someone above the journals coordinated those retractions. The same entity coordinating the retractions was acquiring the researchers. We know this because 3 of the retracted papers cite Meridian Station directly. They cited it as a real institution with a department, a director, and a mailing address. Everything you assumed about who was hiding this is wrong. Meridian Station mailing address is in Bethesda, Maryland. Today, that lot is empty, but records show a structure there until 1991. The demolition permit was filed by a company called Ardent Holdings. Ardent Holdings was incorporated in Delaware in 1976 with no named directors. Delaware allows anonymous incorporation, but not for government-linked entities. Unless the entity doing the incorporating is not technically the government, this is where the cover-up stops being a government story. Ardent Holdings connects to a network of research foundations active from 1963 onward. Those foundations funded 12 of the missing scientists before they disappeared. Not government grants, private foundation grants. Untraceable private money. And then, in 2021, a whistleblower made contact with a journalist in Geneva. The journalist's name is Martin Voss, and he published nothing for 2 years. He said he was waiting to verify what he had been told. In 2023, Voss published a single article, and it was removed within 48 hours. Archived copies were also deleted from 3 separate archiving services simultaneously. But someone had already printed it. Those printouts are now circulating in the research community, and their contents are extraordinary. Voss claimed to have worked inside Meridian Station from 1985 to 1993. The source described a facility not in Maryland, but underground. The Maryland address was the intake point, a staging location. Personnel and equipment were transported from Bethesda through a decommissioned utility corridor. The corridor led to a vertical descent. The source estimated 300 feet below grade. At that depth, the facility was invisible to any scanning technology available in 1985. The source described the work as receiving, not transmitting. The scientists were not sending the signal. They were listening to something that had been speaking to them for decades. And according to Voss's source, they had begun to understand it. The signal was not random noise. It was structured, recursive, self-referential. And then Voss received a second package, postmarked 3 weeks after his article was deleted. Inside was a document he had never seen and never requested. The document is an internal assessment dated September 11th, 1989. The issuing authority is listed as the Office of the President, not the CIR, not the DIA, the Office of the President of the United States. The assessment recommends, in its only legible paragraph, indefinite continuation of the program, and the reason given is four words that have not been redacted. Those four words are: the signal is responding. The signal was not just being received, it was responding to us. The question we asked in the beginning, what were the scientists actually working on? We now have part of an answer. The program was not studying signals the way a radio telescope studies stars. It was communicating with something, and that something was communicating back. 14 of the disappeared scientists worked specifically on response protocol. Their job was to determine whether the signal could understand structured human language. According to recovered lab notes, it could. Dr. Elena Voss, a linguist from Heidelberg, documented the first confirmed response pattern in 1987. She disappeared 6 days after filing her report. Her report described the signal as adaptive. It was learning our transmission patterns in real time. Think about what that actually means. Something was listening, analyzing, and then reshaping its output to match our input. That is not a natural phenomenon. Dr. Marcus Hollowell, a physicist at Sandia National Laboratories, called it behavioral mimicry at scale. He published one paper on the subject in a restricted journal, then vanished from all public records. His university still lists him as on sabbatical. Since 1991, everything we just covered is still the surface layer, because the signal did not just respond to language. According to 3 separate classified briefs, it responded to thought pattern transmissions. The program had moved beyond radio frequency communication by 1989. Researchers were using a neural interface prototype, broadcasting brainwave data directly into the signal. The results are documented in a report marked Cogent Black, never officially declassified. 2 of the 3 subjects who interfaced directly with the signal never recovered. The 3rd subject gave a single statement before going permanently silent. That statement, 3 words, was, "It already knows." Dr. Anatoly Petrov, a Soviet cognitive scientist, reported nearly identical findings in 1988. His program, codenamed Zerkalo, was a parallel operation running simultaneously with the American program. The Americans and Soviets were both communicating with the same signal, and neither knew the other was doing it, until one Soviet transmission accidentally interfered with an American transmission in 1990. The signal, receiving both simultaneously, did something neither team had seen before. It merged both signals and broadcast a single unified response to both teams at the same time. The signal was not just communicating, it was coordinating the conversation. Both programs shut down within 30 days of that event. Officially, budget cuts and restructuring were cited in both countries. Unofficially, 41 researchers across both programs disappeared within 3 years of the shutdown. When journalists filed FOIA requests for either program, both governments responded identically, because this was not limited to the United States and the Soviet Union. In 1992, Japan's Defense Intelligence Headquarters began its own signal research program. 7 researchers assigned to that program, gone within 18 months. France ran an ocean-based program from 1988 to 1995, tracking a signal variant emanating from deep Atlantic coordinates. The vessel's final log entry reads, "Signal intensity exceeds measurement capacity. All systems nominal." Australia's Pine Gap facility, already known for classified intelligence work, logged 18 anomalous signal events between 1983 and 1997. Each event lasted exactly 4 minutes and 44 seconds. Same duration across every country, every program, every year. That is not coincidence. In 1996, a delegation of scientists from 6 countries met privately at a Geneva conference. The meeting has no official record, but 3 attendees independently described it to investigative journalists decades later. All 3 described the same conclusion reached at that meeting. The signal was not extraterrestrial in origin, and it was not terrestrial. Their working theory: the signal originates from a dimension or layer of reality operating adjacent to our own. Something existing in parallel, aware of us and aware that we had noticed it. 3 of the 6 scientists at that Geneva meeting disappeared within 2 years. One was last seen in Zurich, one in Edinburgh. One simply stopped existing in any record system. No death certificates, no missing persons reports, no institutional acknowledgement they ever existed. Their published papers were systematically removed from university libraries across 4 countries. But one copy of the Geneva meeting summary survived, and it was found in the most unexpected place. An estate sale in Portland, Oregon, 2019, yielded a box belonging to a deceased retired postal worker. Inside was a sealed envelope, postmarked Geneva, November 1996, never opened. The document inside, 12 pages, was the full Geneva meeting summary. An independent researcher obtained the document and spent 3 years verifying its contents against known declassified records. Forensic paper analysis and ink dating confirmed it was authentic, produced in 1996. The document's final conclusion was unanimous across all 6 delegations. Our communication attempts must stop immediately, because continued contact carried a consequence they had identified. Prolonged contact results in irreversible cognitive assimilation. The signal was not just communicating, it was rewriting the minds of the people who contacted it. The disappeared scientists were not abducted. They were not silenced. They were assimilated. A handwritten margin note, added after the typed document was completed, reads, "Some have not left." And the assessment's final page, the one with 4 legible words, was written after the shutdown recommendation. Someone continued the program. Someone authorized indefinite continuation after being told to stop. We do not know who made that decision. We do not know if the signal is still being contacted right now. We do not know how many scientists have been assimilated, or what that even means for where they are now. What we do know, the signal is still being detected. Amateur radio operators around the world continue to log an anomalous repeating frequency, the same one described in the 1979 files. Some of them have started responding to it, not knowing what happened to the scientists who did the same thing 40 years ago. And the only question left, the one no document answers, is whether the signal shows us or whether we were found.